Hello, everyone. We are gathered here to talk and discuss in detail about resilience and how being resilient helps an individual. And I want to start by quoting an anonymous psychologist who says, life is never perfect. As much as we wish things would just go our way, difficulties are inevitable, and we all have to deal with them. Resilience theory argues that it's not the nature of adversity that is more important, but how we deal with it is more important. So, today we have two experts who will give us insights on the subject of resilience and how they feel resilience is an important tool of lifestyle. I warmly welcome Dipayan Mohanty, promoter and managing director of Hemera Group. Dipayan is an ex vice chairman of Cargill India Private Limited. Being an IIT and IIM graduate, Dipayan is a practitioner of Buddhism and a leader to whom everyone looks up to. Welcome, Dipayan.
Thank you so much.
I also warmly welcome Sachin Jain, who is a certified executive and team coach working on leadership development and business performance enhancement. He is a Harvard alumnus with 20 years of experience in automotive industry. Sachin is a passionate individual who is always upstanding to contribute in people's growth and development. We are honored to have you, Sachin. Welcome.
Thanks for having me here.
So I just want to start with giving my little insight on how I personally feel about resilience. And as the saying goes, growing up has never been easy. Graduating from colleges and sitting for cutthroat competitive examinations, there's a genuine need for the youth to practice resilience. But apart from just academics, there are multiple anxiety driven factors that affect people, especially growing children, which tend to hamper their mental well being. Factors like societal expectations or unhealthy domestic environment, academic failure, etc. And I feel at that point of time, having a resilient nature is so much more important. But being corporate professionals, I want to ask and start from the very scratch by asking you both, what is resilience according to you? And what are the factors that contribute to resilience? Sachin?
Shrigala, we all are driven by emotions. As human being, we are full of emotions, whether we accept it or we don't, or we acknowledge it or we don't. But emotions are driving us, and there's a constant swing of emotions from negative to positive and positive to negative, which we don't even see. They are not so evident. In difficult times, as you have quoted in the start, it is our outlook that how we see those difficulties. Difficult time pulls us down into the negative spiral of emotions, and it's difficult sometimes to come back. Resilience is that ability in ourselves to bounce back into the positive state of mind and progress. So for me, the way I have seen resilience, I've observed resilience is becoming aware of the situation where you are, becoming aware of your own self, how you are feeling, and then finding a path to come out of it. That's how the resilience path happens, and that's how it builds further.
Beautiful. Dipayan, what's your take on this?
Well, I think very well said, Sachin. Purely when I look at in a very simplest of the term, I said not giving up at any point of situation. I call that as resilience. And there is a big difference between tolerance and resilience because resilience is tolerance plus bouncing back. So it is moving from a negative state of mind and depression into, uh, you know, a totally positive self of yours, and yeah, not accepting a defeat at any stage is itself a resiliency. That's how I would put it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, great. Sachin, I want to ask you how, according to you, being resilient helps in having a correct balance of emotions.
I see it like living a day. In 24 hours, we see day and night. That's how nature teaches us. So similarly, in resilience, we realize our negative emotions. So first of all, it raises our self-awareness as to how we feel in a particular situation. And the next step is to pull ourselves out of that situation. So it is our own effort. How do we handle that? And it requires a lot of skills and strength. It is not easy part. The only thing where we don't recognize is something that we have realized in past but not able to use it. So in resilience, I see it as a continuous development plan in ourselves, where we face something difficult, we overcome that situation by building some strength and using that strength for future. People who are aware about it, people who are good in it, exercising it, are the one who see the progress path. They are the one who extend an arm to others also to progress further.
Okay, okay. Dipayan, what about you? Do you think resilience is a quality that someone can learn or develop? And if so, how? Any steps you can tell us where you think, resilience can help one person to become a better human being?
I think resilience comes out of three major aspects of life, which I call that as courage, compassion, and wisdom. Now, and resilience is not only a mental state, as a lot of people, think about. Resilience has a lot to do with your fitness and your health and your surroundings also. So, because the mind and body are in unison, you can't separate the mind from body, right?
Yeah.
If you're not really keeping well, if you're not fit inside, it will affect your mental situations also in a big way. So, yes, it's a combination of courage, compassion, wisdom, and also the physical fitness. So, I would say that when you asking that what do somebody need to do, to think more about resilience is other than being non-judgmental, other than staying positive, being courageous and uh, staying motivated. It is also to get down to activities of running, sports, engage into physical activities, and even a simple thing like just sharing a joke or laughing. So I think it's a very wholesome thing. Resilience is not, to me, is one aspect of mental state. It's the manner you look at from a wholesome perspective. Yeah.
Okay.
Hope I answered
Yeah, yeah,
what
of
you're
course,
looking for. Yeah.
of course, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you both have pretty much talked about, like,
Yeah.
good deal on resilience. I want to ask here, both of you, what has been your biggest failure till now, and how did you guys deal with it or practice resilience at that very moment? Sachin?
Well, for me, if I have to look back and see the failure, I don't accept failure, first of all. But if ever I have to look at, yeah, there's one decision when I moved from a big multinational to, I made a decision to shift from one company to another. It didn't prove to be a good decision, let me admit it. But the resilient part was that I didn't give up. I found solution to make another change, and which took me to another dimension. I mean that change made my life forever, and the exposure which I got after that change is phenomenal. So by the time I was not aware about resilience quality and about resilience. It's only in the recent time when I started experiencing, reading, and knowing more and more about it. And resilience has actually picked up in last 1 year, I would say. We all experienced resilience, but the word became famous in last 1 year. And courtesy to COVID, that made this word popular
Yeah.
because we all have experienced resilience in one way or the other.
Yeah.
So if you ask about me, as Dipan was mentioning, it's not only about mental state, it's the overall wholesome process that you carry. I engage myself in activity which I like the most, which I enjoy most, and activities which motivates me to do, whether it is watching TV or cricket or playing. I am conscious about my physical fitness. So whenever I get a opportunity, I go out for running, gymming, talking, reading, anything which can connect me to the positivity
Mhm.
is an inspirational activity for me, and that's how I'm keeping myself engaged in these for last 6 8 months.
Okay, great. Dipayan, would you like to share some of us, like some of your failures?
Yeah. I think I would, as Sachin put that very mildly, I'll also say that let's call some of my learnings, of course, we're talking resilience. I don't want to talk a negative word called failure. I'll say learning, right?
Mhm.
So, well, I would. So for me, I've been an entrepreneur for last 10 years, and in the first 5 years, it had a very steady growth. In fact, in 2016, our group was one of the fastest growing company in Singapore. And then, we did the market and the credit defaults, and that went against us. And then we suddenly hit stagnancy in our business. There was a southward, kind of a situation of the business. So, well, I mean, that was a great time when we actually started getting back into innovations, started, looking at, changing our business model to suit the environment. We looked at how to keep the people motivated who was stayed back with us, and then brought back our credibility and really worked on self-belief. So look, I mean, we are back again with doing much better than what we were doing in the first phase of our growth. And in fact, we look at that like a spring board, right? So that it it kind of, a situation act. We looked at the situation to act, uh, almost like a vaccine, which
Yeah.
gave us that little fever that time, but then came back much stronger. Yeah, I would put it as a metaphoric manner that that's how the resilience work. You consider a situation like a vaccine, right,
Yeah.
and make yourself much more immune.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what we went through, and pretty happy about that. Yeah,
So I personally loved
yeah,
that vaccine metaphor. It suits
yeah,
perfectly well for today's time. So Sachin,
yeah.
you just mentioned that you have been practicing resilience since a very long time. I want to ask you, how do you think a resilient person can contribute in a society?
It's a big contribution, actually. First of all, if you talk about that person who is practicing resilience, he or she would be empathetic,
Yeah.
empathetic about himself, herself, and empathetic about others also. So resilience is actually feeling, let the feeling coming out and acknowledging them. And once I know my feelings, I am in a better position to understand others' feeling also. And my experience says it is contagious. Resilience is simply contagious. The moment you express something or you exhibit that resilience, people get inspired and pick up from there. Uh, Not everyone have that courage to take first step, but some of us need anchors, and resilience act as that anchor. That resilient person act as an anchor in the society, showing empathy towards others and helping them out. There cannot be a solution, ready-made solution for others, but if that acknowledgement is there, yes, we all are in pain, and there can be some way out. That courage, that motivation, if it's spread, it can pull a society back to normal. And that's how some people have done that in this pandemic. They have, and whether through their videos or speeches, or whether coming out and serving foods or making masks. So that's another form of resilience that they have displayed in these times.
Okay. That's a great approach, Sachin. So that was the societal aspect. Learning more about the corporate structure, Dipayan, I want to ask you, how do you think resilience is significant in the corporate sector?
Sujla, the corporates, have multiple points of potential disruptions.
Mhm.
Okay, really multiple point. Whether it's market conditions, whether something goes wrong on a supply chain, whether there is a large employee turnover, it's a risk capital, investor sentiment, geopolitical situations. It's multiple point of disruptions are there. Okay. Now, for a sustainable business model, okay, anybody wants to stay sustainable, extremely important that how do we anticipate a risk and coping with unexpected changes, right? I mean, what we just saw at as the COVID-19, completely unexpected. One fine day in Singapore, I'm sitting with my banker, and that's when I first time heard about it. Right? Okay, we used to earlier call the Wuhan uh, virus, right?
Yeah.
That's something which I did here. Okay, and then within weeks of that, I find that the travel restrictions coming, and the next travel which I was doing to Malaysia, I myself suddenly saw that in the flight only 1/4 of the flight is full, and the situation changing so rapidly. And then within a month of that, I finding people are being quarantined and everybody back at home. Suddenly, getting into a situation of home quarantine, work from home. So the entirety as a corporate, these are the uncertainties. Okay, now the question is, how do we, a lot of time these are not anticipated,
Yeah.
right? I mean, especially this situation, it's very difficult to anticipate these situations. But what stays in as a corporate character is, are we giving up in a situation like that, or we are finding a way to stay resilient, to have innovations, to think out of the box, stay cohesive as a team,
Yeah.
and address the issue together for betterment of the corporate, not thinking the environment being something different than yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is one. You and the environment is actually one, right?
Yeah.
So you look at from that perspective, yes, uh, this has, in corporate sector, this has a huge meaning. How the uncertainties and resilience really
Yeah.
means. Yeah.
Okay. So, you're a founder of Himera Group, and I want to know that you must be looking around for the best people to work with. When you hire candidates, do you assess resilience as the prime quality in them?
Definitely, that is extremely an important quality in every person that we look at hiring. Well, I mean, the manner we define in Himera as we hire people is, we when we go to campuses, when we talk to our candidates, we don't offer them a job. We offer them a we don't off okay we don't offer them a job. We actually offer them an opportunity. So when I call that as an opportunity, that means every person in the group operates like an entrepreneur himself. So we call a concept of plug and play. You come, you participate in the platform, you show your best of the strength, best of the qualities, team up with the rest of the people, the markets, your investors and bankers, and then try to do the best. So this nature of our business really requires every person to be resilient, and entrepreneurship is about resiliency. Okay,
Okay.
and this is where we promote optimism. We really want the person to be able to celebrate even the small little thing. The celebration is a big part of resiliency again. That a person has to be fun loving, has to be celebrating every little success, open communication, innovation. Have a have a concept of informal atmosphere but not casual. So these are few things that we really look into the candidates that we look at, and all these things goes very well with the term resiliency.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's
Beautiful.
what. Yes. Yeah.
Coming back to you, Sachin. So, as we know, and we have been talking on this from quite a while, that the recent pandemic and the unprecedented lockdown that followed, it took a toll on everyone's mental health. You know, people were actually started to grow through so much in life. Suddenly, being exposed to the that inner insecurities and all the bad qualities, they were they were actually getting exposed to all of that. So can you tell us how being resilient can be helpful in such dire times like this COVID-19 pandemic?
First of all, it's sad that what had happened. People have gone through difficult times, losing jobs,
Yeah.
or for students where they have to go through the change. Entire education methodology changed. There were financial cuts on people. Businesses were under loss. In fact, the entire cash cycle got halt. Uh, And it reflects in our behavior. It reflects in our day-to-day activity that we are doing, and it's very natural to go into that negativity of demotivation or irritation, agitation that reflects. Now, these times, we don't wish comes again, but these times are opportunity. They are the silver linings to develop ourselves. When I talk to people, I come across people who have used this time to develop their skills. They have used their time to recognize their strength. This was a good time to introspect what they have done in life and what's their purpose. I've been hearing more often word purpose and passion in these times, which wasn't there. Maybe we didn't got time or we didn't stop to think those things. And once I get to know my passion, purpose, my strengths, my skills, I have a new way of looking life. Next, we have become more human. There was a lot of empathy around the world, and all of us were sailing in the same boat. So a lot of humanity which was exhibited. And I'm sure when such difficult time comes, not the COVID time, but any difficult time comes, we will look back and say we survived happily. So that's the celebration that we can live with for future. And in these times when we have developed new skill, new perspective, there will be a new way of living life. Maybe we ourselves have broken those old beliefs, and we are on the path to set a new future.
Okay, that's a really beautiful message, Sachin. Dipan, what are your thoughts on that? Since
No,
a lot of things have changed in the corporate sector as well ever since the pandemic happened, the jobs, the expectations, and the entire working environment. So I want to ask you this personal question: being a corporate leader, how do you think, and how did you manage to sort of build or rebuild resilience among your employees?
well, I very, in fact, taking off when where Sachin has just addressed the issue of how people started introspecting, right? So I remember March when the whole lockdown happened, and I happened to be in New Delhi. And the biggest thing I saw first was the air pollution had gone down to zero. And then I I really, let's look at so many positives, okay? And I never, I've stayed here for so many years. I never had heard about the chirpings of birds. It was as if the humans were away and the birds are celebrating, right? And no vehicle on the road, uh, no smoke, uh, having quietness of home. So far, people were talking about, we always used to address these issues of business schools and work environment, that work life balance. So suddenly we got so much of life, okay, and spending time at home. And the work from home concept actually got much more positive because it saved your travel time.
Yeah.
Let's say, if you don't refer to places like Singapore, where travel times is very predictable. You look at places like Manila, Bombay, Delhi, Jakarta. It is hugely troublesome, right? And look at, for those people, working from home was really something, came like a blessing. And the people got more effective because we had never explored the media, the e-media of working and connecting with people. Now, other positive happened was I really started connecting with my own employees much more through the e-media than while being in office, because rarely I could find a colleague spending so much of time with me FaceTime while I'm in office than they're spending us FaceTime on e-media, right? So connectivity with people, communications, the effectiveness of working, the work-life balance becoming very positive. So there's so many positives that was actually discovered during the pandemic. And there's a new method of operating. Now, suddenly we realize that our travel budget can be really cut down to 50%. We don't really need to travel so many places. So I would say that when you look at a situation, a pandemic, uh, it is again, I refer to a thing like in my learning thing, I talked about a vaccine, right? I gave a metaphor of vaccine.
Yeah.
This is also a vaccine to tell us, hey, don't get too perturbed around how the corporate should operate. This probably is a better method of operating as business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, on a need-based travel, communication across, understanding people, work-life balance, environment getting more cleaner. Uh, so there's so many positives in those situations. So this is where I leave it at. Yeah.
Okay, so as we move towards the end of this discussion, I want to know from both of you if you personally encountered somebody in life who showed brilliant resilience during hard times and you felt immensely inspired. Sachin?
Well, if I look around, not in pandemic, but one thing I want to highlight here is resilience can happen anytime.
Yeah.
Even in best of the time, someone can encounter resilience and get into demotivation and depression. And there's one incident which I remember. It was back in 2015. Uh, I got assignment in Korea, and somebody else from India joined, not us, but they also joined some assignment in Korea, and the person was not happy with the assignment. Somehow it hit him. I don't know what hit him. We didn't. I mean, not part of discussion today, but something hit him, and it was not up to his expectation. He went into depression and demotivation, a big spiral. Uh, and now, when I see his journey, he is a CEO and founder of a large biotech company. Now, what made him do so? It was when I see his history, he had a glorious past, good academic, glorious past. There was some moment where didn't that things didn't happen, hit him, hard times, but that strength of coming back and progressing more than what a person could have done in that situation is resilience for me, and that's the inspiring story for me. What I learned from it is we all have glorious past. We can learn from the strengths that we have lived in past. Today is today. I mean, it will change. Even if it is hard time, how long will it stay? Is the question that we can ask to ourselves. And do we have a purpose for tomorrow to look for? If there's a purpose, certainly we'll wait for tomorrow and work for tomorrow. So that's how the resilience cycle goes on. That's how it's a continuous process of building resilience.
Beautiful. Vipal?
Well, there are many resilient people I have come across in the business world, in corporate life, and there'll be many of them. But if you say that there's someone who really has inspired me on resiliency, um, is my mother, uh, because I've seen her since my childhood, seen the manner she has managing a very difficult situation to really grow her four children, and the manner she has there have been a lot of hurdles and challenges, coming from a very small town by myself, and somebody who has really stayed on, uh, even looking at lots of good bad situation that has happened over life, and then carried on and still remain as my one of my leader, who actually I look up to in my own loving way. So which I guess goes to all of us. I think so mothers are really one great example of resiliency, starting from giving birth to us. So I really look up to her as my inspiration for resiliency. Yeah.
Okay, that was really beautiful and touching. So yeah, the whole point was to bring that personal touch in this, in this whole theoretical discussion that we had so far. And with this, we end our discussion. And I really, really want to thank you both, Sachin and Dipayan, for joining me. I hope people who watch this, they do get inspired and motivated, and they start realizing the beauty behind this quality of resilience and start practicing it themselves. So thank you for speaking and sharing your insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Reza.
Thanks, Srijala, for